welcome to the Alexandra Wenman show. Today I am so pleased as punch to introduce you to a very good friend of mine. She's one of my favourite people on the planet. This is Gemma Bliss. She's an amazing Kundalini Yoga teacher. She's an author, an illustrator, and all-round spiritualista. So welcome, Gem. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks for blowing my trumpet.
I can't help, darling. You know. So Gemma and I go way, way back, and I know a lot about this woman, but I want her to speak to you a little bit about her spiritual journey because she's such a wealth of knowledge, and also I just love this girl because she brings so much joy to our planet. So Gem, like we go back to something like 2007 or something.
That's
but
the one.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about your spiritual journey and how you came to be doing what you're doing now?
So I was going through a very messy relationship. That was how I came onto this path. And through that relationship, I found yoga, and it brought me a wealth of calm, and it was a real balm for my soul. In those days, it was more Bikram, a bit more hectic than what I do now. But I was just going through and trying different kinds of yoga, and the more I did it, the more it really brought something to my soul, but not quite what I was looking for. And then one day I went to the gym and I found a Kundalini Yoga class with this amazing guy called Siri Atma. And he still teaches in North London. And he did this class of completely crazy postures, and like we were dancing around and like chanting, all of this juicy stuff that I really love and was never allowed to do in my other yoga classes.
And was he also dressed in his fabulous whites?
Yes, he was. And he drove a Harley Davidson with his whites. So he was a very cool yoga teacher.
He's a very cool yoga teacher.
So brilliant.
So you could be a normal person and be a yoga teacher.
You can.
Yeah.
And through Kundalini Yoga, once I started that, it was like a little light bulb going off for me in my life and on my spiritual journey. I went into Theta Healing, which is where I met Al. That was a long time ago. And then I started writing about stuff, and I went into a whole load of different things, but Kundalini Yoga was the steady thing on my path. So I did my yoga teacher training and became a teacher. And I still hold a very dedicated practice, and it really has changed my life. And also my wardrobe.
It's absolutely amazing. I've done some of Gem's classes, and yeah, the emotional reaction to me is the thing that shows me that it really works, right? So I've laughed, I've cried. I mean, laughed like a hyena in some of your classes. Yes. I mean, she makes me laugh anyway. But I mean, the class. So what is the difference? If people don't really know about Kundalini Yoga, what's the main difference between sort of like Vinyasa and all the Hatha and all those other types of yoga and Kundalini? Because it really stands apart, doesn't it?
Yes, it's very different. You have to drop all of your preconceptions of what yoga is at the door. Kundalini Yoga is a Raj Yoga, so it's more meditative, and we practice with our eyes closed. So the experience is really inside, and that is all that matters. It doesn't matter what you look like or how flexible you are. It's about what's going on in here, which is why I love it so much. But apart from all of the Hatha Yoga, the Bendy Wendy yogas, they bring so much to the table, and Kundalini Yoga takes aspects of that as well. But yes, it has a lot more of a meditative edge, and it works with the Kundalini energy, which is our soul potential, our God essence. And that is kind of situated at the base of the spine. And that holds everything that we're meant to be. It holds our entire potential. It holds us as divine beings. And Kundalini Yoga helps to really strengthen our nervous system to hold and contain that energy and to allow it to fully come in and embody us. So we become who we're meant to be, and we become our divine shining beacons of light.
Wow. So it's really works on that Holy Grail energy, isn't it? That divine alignment energy.
Very much so.
When did Kundalini Yoga start, and who began it?
So it started way, way back in the day, and it used to be kept as a very big secret. It wasn't taken out into the real world. It was practiced by yogis in the mountains, and it does hold a lot of transformational power. So they just kept it to themselves. And Yogi Bhajan was a yogi, and he bought all of that wisdom and he took it to the States, where this was in the 60s and everyone's tripping out on acid. And he was like, okay guys, I can give you something that's better than acid and that will help your nervous systems as well. So he started teaching it in the States, and it boomed massively. It very much resonated with the flower child movement and this heart opening, opening up humanity and opening up consciousness. So that's where it started. And he said that, you know, these yogis who used to keep it a secret and really keep it under wraps, that it wasn't necessary to do that anymore. We could give it to people. We can all step into our power. This should be available to everyone. And in the olden days, in order to practice Kundalini Yoga, you had to spend 40 days in baby pose, which is a hatha practice. You basically curled up on the floor with your forehead on the floor for 40 days.
40 days.
Yeah. So if you survive that, you can start doing
If you haven't
Kundalini
turned
Yoga
to rock in the meantime,
you know?
or burrowed a hole in the ground to try and escape.
That's it. So he made it open and accessible to people in the West especially. So yeah.
Wow. And let's talk about, because you look absolutely beautiful. It's like very serene in the turban and the whites. So the whites are part of the Kundalini Yoga sort of way, aren't they? Why do you have to dress in whites? What's the principle behind that?
So with the white, it reflects all the colours of the rainbow, and it expands the aura out. So as a Kundalini Yoga teacher specifically, we need to be bright and we need to hold the space so people can really follow what we're doing, and that's what it is. It's just being a lighthouse and holding the space for people to step into that divine consciousness. And with the turban, some people choose to wear it, some people, you know, you do whatever you want really. But for me, it really helps to hold the energy, especially when I'm teaching a full day workshop and there's really intense energies going on. And I can get a headache. If I wasn't wearing this, I would get massive headache. So this really helps me contain it. It protects my crown chakra. It holds me, and it feels, if you want to give it a go, you should give it a go.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of also, it's kind of Egyptian. It reminds me of like Akhenaten and the elongated and Nefertiti, the high head, so the high crown and the higher wisdom, isn't it? It's reaching the higher wisdom.
An interesting thing. I hadn't thought about that.
I was thinking about the Egyptian stuff. Amazing. There's so much about you that I want to kind of talk about and share. And I, you know, because you've been a DJ, you've been a trolley dolly, so you grew up in Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your kind of where you grew up and your journey to get you to the UK, and what shaped Gemma?
Well, Zimbabwe did shape a lot. It was growing up in the sunshine, and obviously when you're young, you don't have any sense of reference. So I'm growing up like this, and other people are growing up in England or wherever they're growing up. It was warm. It was a very, I have a very good memory of it. You know, it was wild, it was outdoors, it was very open and expansive, and sunshine makes a massive difference, I think, in developing as a person. It really helps you be a lot more relaxed. So that always came pretty naturally to me, to being a bit more chilled. But yes, obviously I wanted to spread my wings, and so after Zimbabwe, I went to university in South Africa, and then I went to Japan and lived in Japan for a year. And then I moved to England, and that was maybe about 15, 16 years ago. And then that's where it all began, really. And London is incredible in that it's just this melting pot of anything that you want and anything that you need, you'll find it here.
It really is, isn't it? I think a lot of us have been drawn to London to kind of really step into our spiritual journey, and that you can find everything here, can't you? So there's so many different schools of thought, and it's amazing how you talk about Kundalini Yoga as kind of bringing you into that divine alignment, because there's so many different ways to get there, and it's kind of following your heart and finding the way that's right for you, isn't it?
That's it. And it's a game as well. It's all having fun and exploring stuff and seeing what you can do and seeing where it can take you.
And so in terms of Kundalini Yoga training for people that would like to get into this, how long does the training take, and how do you sort of learn how to be a Kundalini teacher?
So you just take your teacher training over 1 year, and there's 12 weekends in that year, and then a week residential. And it's the most beautifully expansive journey. It really opens huge doors into your possibilities and into where you can take your life and who you can be and what you can step into. So it's fantastic, and anyone can do it. You don't need to have been practicing Kundalini for very long. You just see if it resonates, and then
take
go.
plunge.
Just go for it.
Just dive in. Amazing.
That's it.
Wow. Yeah, it is really. What I love about it too is, you know, a lot of people do yoga these days. I mean, yoga's like a buzzword these days, isn't it? It's become very common, and a lot of people do yoga for fitness. Kundalini, whilst being an incredible spiritual practice, I love that it keeps you fit anyway as a byproduct.
Yes.
So you're kind of going to the gym to exercise your intuition and your inner self while making your outer self look beautiful as well, to encapsulate it all.
That's it. And it's tough.
And
it's tough.
it is a workout,
yeah,
right?
It's fun, but it's really tough.
Yeah.
Or it can be.
Bodily and emotionally. Really cool. So, and you've just been on a massive 3-month journey through India. Tell us about India, because you had a real journey there, didn't you?
That was incredible. So we started off in Kerala, and we wanted to go to spiritual places and ashrams along the way. And that's all we did. I went with my partner Nish, and it was a very challenging journey for both of us. India is a very challenging place to travel in. You're confronted with quite a lot. And one of the main reasons it resonates strongly with me is because it feels very much like Zimbabwe, or there's an essence of Zimbabwe there that I really connected with. And I wanted to explore that more. I found there that I'd always kind of thought India would be my home. And I found there that actually home is here, and I don't need to go to India to find that. But I did find some very beautiful places that could resonate as my home, and some beautiful ashrams. And Nish and I went all the way up to Dharamsala, up into the Himalayas, which sublimely beautiful, that place. It really is. You feel it's where God lives. And the Dharamsala has a Vipassana center. You always save the most heavy, hectic stuff for last. And we did a Vipassana, which is a 10-day silent meditation. You just meditate still for 10 days. And I'd done it before, and the first time I'd said, I'll never do this again. And then Nish had never done it, so we went and we did our Vipassana, and I struggled through it. It was so tough. And Nish came out.
But you knew what you were getting into.
I knew.
I remember the first time she did it. I was like, what are you doing?
And Nish came out, and he just fluttered his wings, and he said, yeah, so fine, that was fine, give me another one.
And you're like,
beached on the shores of this hectic Vipassana. But you know, it was a great experience, and I feel quite changed by the whole 3 months in India with the cherry on top Vipassana.
I love you. You're the way that Gemma is anyway with her spiritual journey. She takes the bull by the horns. She's a Taurus anyway. And when I was always just like, angels and light and butterflies and unicorns, she was like, right, I'm gonna go do San Pedro, I'm gonna go do a sweat lodge, you always dive right into it, don't you, head first. All the
stuff.
shamanic stuff and everything, and it's brilliant, it's wonderful. And so I also want to talk about your gift for illustration and art, and your gift for writing and editing. For those of you who don't know, Gemma and I used to co-edit a magazine called Prediction Magazine, which is no longer with us. But I spoke a little bit about that on my interview at the beginning, so you can hear about that journey in the first episode of the Alexandra Wenman show. But Gemma and I have also created some children's books together. And Gem did the most beautiful illustrations for a series of children's books called Dear Little Angels, which are out now. The first one, Ariel, is out now. But you also have a beautiful children's book that you wrote yourself and illustrated yourself called The Gift. Tell us about The Gift. What inspired The Gift?
So that's about finding yourself and finding your identity, and it's for children maybe 9 to 11, I'd say. And it's about Zimbabwe. You've got to write what you know, and it's about a little girl who travels through and has adventures with crocodiles and witch doctors and magic, and she comes to find out who she is. It was fun.
It was a beautiful journey. It's such a beautiful book. I think it's for adults too. I mean, it's not very big, but I mean, it reminded me a little bit of Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist in a way, because it's
praise indeed.
Well, yeah, because you sort of go on an inner journey with this little girl while you're reading it, and it's so the way that you use language is so imaginative and beautiful. And I'm a real visual bunny. I like to see things and like to imagine and picture things. And with Gem's book, I found I was really in there journeying with her, and there's so much magic and delight in it. And it's really like, you're a bit scared one minute, and then it's like, it takes you on this journey, and it's really an unraveling of
there's
like...
some dark stuff that happens.
Yeah, there's a little bit of dark stuff too, which is, it's fine, because we can't all, even with children, we can't pretend it's all light and love and that there's nothing. Like, we don't want to shock them when they do come across something that's a little bit,
that's it,
confronting. So I think it's absolutely magical. So can you give us a little breakdown of the basics of Kundalini Yoga, if you were to, I suppose, teach a little class in it for our viewers?
Yes. So Kundalini Yoga is quite way out, and it does have some pretty bonkers mudras and movements and chants, but it is a collection of all of those aspects. You've got movement, you've got chanting, you've got mudras, and you've got meditation. And it is a very meditational practice, although sometimes that can feel quite strong and quite physical. You're always watching inside with your eyes closed. And a class will generally consist of a selection of 3 minutes of various postures or movements. And it does use a lot of repetition and a lot of working with the chakras, the energy centers. It works with the meridians in the body. It works with really clearing out your channels so you can better receive the Kundalini energy, which is at the base of your spine. And you're kind of working with that energy to move it up into the body and awaken, step into your full consciousness.
And those little 3-minute intervals, they're called Kriyas, aren't they?
Yes.
What does Kriya mean?
Kriya is cleansing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kriya means, so you're basically doing all little cleanses that you do.
That's it. And it really, I mean, it's a fantastic technology. It works so well with just rewiring your brain and rewiring your body, and it totally reconfigures your karma and your systems, and your physical body will change when you start doing Kundalini Yoga. It's a fantastic system, and it works on so many levels of your being. And really the best way to experience it, or to know about it, is to experience it, because it really is about your experience of it. That's what Kundalini Yoga is.
Some of these things you can't, it's hard to describe them to people without
impossible
them.
to articulate.
You need to go to a class, really.
That's
so
it.
Where can people find you to learn Kundalini Yoga from you, or to do a class with you?
So I teach at the College of Psychic Studies in South Kensington in London, and I do workshops. We do full-day workshops.
A whole day of Kundalini
transformation on mega scale. And we do half-day workshops, which are slightly more pared back, but still pretty supersonic and powerful.
Wow. And you also do one-on-one private sessions, don't you, Jen?
I do private sessions around London, yeah. And that's fun as well. It's a really lovely way to connect with the practice, and and that would be just an hour.
Just 1 hour.
No heavy
Okay, so
duty
like
stuff.
a whole day of one-on-one with Gemma. It's like boot camp. And where can people find information about you?
So I write a blog called Yogi Gems, and Yogi Gems is a big wealth, I'm hoping, of information, but personal information, personal experience about Kundalini Yoga. And I write about my practice on there, and other people write about their practice on there. So in Kundalini Yoga, we would usually take a meditation and we would practice it for 40 days just to really allow ourselves to feel it and experience it and all the changes that it brings. And I generally explore that on yogigems.com.
And there's a specific meditation that we were talking about this morning that you've done for 40 days, right?
Yes.
And is this to do with the chakras?
Yes, it's Sodarshan Chakra Kriya. It's a pretty incredible meditation to do. It really helps you to access your meditative mind, so you can approach your life in a very equanimous way, and you don't get riled up by things, and you don't get drawn into dramas and stories. It helps you stay so steady and so clear, and you can really become the best version of yourself with this meditation. And there's so many amazing things about this Kriya. It is life-changing, and in the 40 days that I practiced it, I made massive decisions, and I really changed the structure of my life. And it's still with me. I still feel the effects of it, and that's the thing with Kundalini Yoga. The resonance of it continues through, and those 40 days that you do, they'll flow through into your life.
So it creates a foundation, really, doesn't it? It's not, you don't just see the changes while you're in the 40 days.
Yeah.
It sets you up to move
100%,
forward to
yes.
for transformation, right?
Really does.
Amazing.
So you can do 3 minutes of Kundalini Yoga, and that will set you up in a pretty good way. And if you did those 3 minutes every day for 40 days, supersonic.
Wow. And what's the ideal? Like, do they have like an ideal, like go for longer than 3 minutes? Is there a...
My practice is 31 minutes a day of whatever meditation I'm working on at the moment. But 11 minutes is a very good start, because with 11 minutes it can go through your entire system, speak to every single one of your cells. So 11 minutes is a very good...
It's the ideal rounded.
Gets the glands involved, gets all the meridians involved. It's a good thing to practice. 11 minutes every morning.
So you're going to guide us through a little practice in a moment. So we're going to give you a chance to practice along with Gemma. She's going to teach you some kriyas, some techniques. And but just for our viewers, how can they find you? Is it yogigems.com?
Yogigems.com is where I'm at.
And are you on Facebook and Instagram and things like that as well?
Yes, I am. Gemma Bliss or Yogi Gems. You can
Gemma
find
Bliss
me
or
there.
Yogi Gems. Thank you so much, Gem, for being with me today.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with Kundalini Yoga, we tune in with a mantra, and the mantra is Om Namo Gurudev Namo, which means I bow to the divine wisdom within. So we bring our palms together in the center of the chest, bring the thumbs towards the sternum, just reaching up through the crown of the head and allowing the shoulders to drop down the back, nice and tall. We take a deep inhale, exhale fully, and we'll inhale to chant. Just hold that breath in for a moment, inviting your higher self to guide you through your practice. And exhale, just float the hands down towards the knees. So we're going to be practicing Sodarshan Chakra Kriya, which is known as the highest Kriya out of all the yogas you can do. This really elevates your consciousness and brings you into a deep state of meditative mind, so you have a real sense of perspective over your life and you can really live your best life. And it comes with a mantra, and the mantra is Waheguru, Waheguru, and that is an exclamation of enlightenment. And we're going to be resonating this in our mind, so we're not going to be chanting it, we're going to be resonating it in our mind, and I'll be playing the music so it makes it easy for us to follow along. What we do is we bring our right hand to our nose, we block off the right nostril, we take a deep inhale through the left nostril, and we hold that breath in. With the breath hold in, we're going to count Waheguru 16 times, and we're going to pump the belly on each syllable. So it's Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. And this we do 16 times, and then we block off the left nostril with the same hand, and we exhale through the right nostril. So you're inhaling through the left nostril, you're holding the breath in, you're pumping the navel as you mentally recite the mantra Waheguru 16 times, and then you exhale through the right nostril.
So block the right nostril with the right hand.
Yes.
Breathing in.
Inhale left.
Pump 16 times. And then we block the left nostril with the left hand and exhale through the right.
And we can use the right hand to block the,
So
you can use the same hand. And you can drop your hand down in between the repetitions.
Okay.
So we want to focus our eyes just down at the tip of the nose. And you're going to be a little bit cross-eyed for this, and it might start to hurt on the optic nerve a bit. If it does, really just blur your gaze to make it a bit easier for yourself, but you want to keep the eyes very slightly open and gazing down. This works deep into the subconscious mind, so you want to anchor yourself in the here and now to really make the effectiveness of this mantra and this meditation work well for you. So we'll bring our hands onto our lap in Gyan Mudra, so you're touching tips of index fingers to tips of thumbs, and just allow the eyes to be very slightly open, rolling down towards the tip of the nose, and we'll start to play the music. We'll bring our hands together at the center of the chest, nice long spine, eyes up and in towards the third eye point. Take a deep inhale, exhale fully. And we'll close by chanting Sat Nam, truth is my name. Deep inhale. Sat Nam. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Alex. Well done.
Thank you, Gemma. That was amazing. That's actually easier said than done, that practice. I found it really
my breath is strong,
I
huh?
was alright holding my breath. I think it was coordinating the stomach. I'm not very good with hand-eye coordination. It's like patting your head and rubbing your tummy.
If you get confused with it, it's totally fine. You know, you're just beginning, but work with it and you'll slowly start to get it, and it'll slowly start to build up, and you'll be able to hold the space.
It's amazing. And then at the end, I just felt so calm and centered, very like laser sharp almost. Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you, Jen.
And let's go on with our day. Sat Nam, everyone.
Sat
Thank
Nam.
you for joining.